millions live their lives, that Muhammad, Krishna, or the Buddha are the way. Still some believe it's right to say in the name of Jesus when you pray. We are a humankind of 7 billion. So many different races and religions, and it all comes down to one. Some say God's a him, and still many believe that he is a her. Does God live in our hearts, or is she somewhere out there in the universe? We are a humankind of 7 billion. So many different races and religions, and it all comes down to one. How far will we have to go before we learn the lesson? Gandhi was a Hindu, Martin Luther King a Christian. Regardless of religion, they knew love was the mission, and it all comes down to one. Is there no God at all, or a pantheon of gods up in the sky? We can heal our broken heart if we give up the desire to be right. We are a humankind of 7 billion. So many different races and religions, and we all want the same things: health, love, prosperity, and peace. Tolerance is the seed, and the gift of your acceptance is the tree. We are a humankind of 7 billion. So many different races and religions, and it all comes down to one. Whether you are red, brown, yellow, black, or white, a man with a husband or a woman with a wife, we can debate until the end of time who's wrong and who is right, but we can see ourselves as one, 'cause it all comes down to love. May our hearts be open. May our hearts be open.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to today's Open Heart Spiritual Center service. I also want to say Leo's rule, and so happy Leo birthday. If August is your birthday month, happy birthday, Leos. I also want to take a moment, just take a breath in. And releasing this breath, we release everything that's come before this time. Release it all. Let it go. This is the time to be present in every single moment. Actually, each moment of every breath is a time to be present. But let's just let everything go that has come before this time and be present. Let's be present for the music. Allow the music to speak to you, to speak to your heart, to crack your heart open and allow you to receive all that you are here to receive today. Even if receiving is just being present. For we often don't have to receive a thing or something material, for that's what we always go to when we think of receiving. But receive the vibration of this service, of the music, of the powerful message. As the messenger brings the message, allow it to open your heart up. And remember that we can take in each moment and change our thinking, change our life. Let's choose today to put a new keeper at the gate of our thoughts, and to think with every step, every idea, and every moment, more empowering thoughts, creative expression, beauty, the intelligence that we are, the wisdom that we already know that we are. There is no grabbing or grasping for something any longer. Today's a new day, and let's celebrate this new day with already knowing it's all well. It's already done so beautifully. So let us just now take a breath in, and breathing in this breath, allowing ourselves to receive this beautiful celebration, and let the celebration begin. And so it is.
You'll see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being. Card attached would say, thank you for being. Card attached would say, thank you for being a friend. Keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's what friends are for. For good times and bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for. Ooh, ah, you got a friend in me.
What comes from the heart reaches the heart. Good morning and welcome to our Heartstream for this Sunday, August the 24th. I'm so glad you joined us for today's Heartstream. I want to say a special happy birthday to my mother-in-law, Ms. Ernestine Mosby. Her birthday was on yesterday. We had the opportunity to celebrate with her and want to continue as she celebrates turning 89. She's proud of that. She tells people how old she is. And so that is something we want to celebrate for her and with her. And for all of the rest of our August babies, the same thing. Happy birthday to each and every one of you. Thank you for supporting Open Heart. We ask that you would continue through your giving, that you would continue through the way in which you share with others about the Heartstream, about Open Heart, and also about Unity Christian Church. Because again, we want to do some things to have this New Thought, Ancient Wisdom teaching, this philosophy to spread, to get bigger. I know that the Reverend Mickey Quinton, who's the pastor of the Unity Church in Cordova, he and I talk regularly. We spend time having lunch, and we often talk about the fact that here in Memphis, that this teaching is very much needed, that this teaching would be beneficial. And one of the ways that it can have that effect is by you sharing with others what it is that we are doing, by you letting others know about our Heartstream. So again, we appreciate you doing so, appreciate you supporting us. With that in mind, today at Unity Christian Church is the fourth Sunday. And as you may recall, following our morning celebration, we have a fellowship meal with friends and family. And you are invited to come out and to share in the celebration, to also share in that meal. It's a wonderful time and a wonderful opportunity for that. There are some important things that'll be coming up that you'll be hearing about very soon. And as always, I take this opportunity with great sense of gratitude and understand the seriousness of this when I say this. And that is, I greet you. I bless you. I see God in you.
Today is a day like no other day. Just think and you'll know that it's true. Days like today should be holidays. So I'm singing this message to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Just have a happy day.
There are several ways to give to Open Heart: through our Cash App at OHSC 901, online at OHSC901.com, or text the word GIVE to 615-422-4290.
A powerful way to start or continue your day is with our daily prayer call. Each morning at 8 a.m. Central Time, a prayer team member provides an inspirational reading and an affirmative prayer. Join us at 901-586-8755.
Hey, if you're in the Memphis area, each week you're invited to come out to Unity Christian Church, 3345 McCorkle Road, to join us for our Sunday celebration. This isn't just about John speaking, but it's about an opportunity for two powerful, wonderful congregations to come together. That's right, because we have people from Open Heart who join in singing, who work as platform assistants, and other things that happen on those Sundays. And if you're here, it's an opportunity for you to come out and to share with us. If you're not able to be here in person, you can always stream with us at Unity Christian Church, both on the Facebook page and on the YouTube channel. Hope to see you soon.
There's a time of the day when the sun's going down. That's the golden time of day. It's the time that the sun turns to gold all around. That's the golden time of day. At the end of the day, when the wind is soft and warm, ooh-wee, don't it make the flowers sway? When the sun settles down and it takes a lovely form, ooh-wee, that's the golden time of day. Whoa, whoa.
Golden time of day. Ooh, golden time of day.
People, let me tell you, there's a time in your life when you find who you are. Don't you know that's the golden time of day? And in your mind you will find you're a bright shining star. And now that's the golden time of day, when you feel deep inside all the love you're looking for. Hey now, don't that make you feel okay? Like the time of the day when the sun's going down. That's the golden time of day. Ooh-wee, that's the golden time of day. Ooh, hey, that's the golden time of day.
Shining, can't you see it shining?
And the golden time of day.
Can't you see it shining?
Let it shine, let your light shine, shine,
Can't you see it
shine,
shining? Shining, can't you see it shining?
All in my heart, all in my soul. Let it shine,
Can't you
all
see
in your
it shining?
heart, all in your soul. Let your light shine, let it shine.
Can't you see it shining?
Shine, a golden time of day.
Circumstances don't have the final say. For those of you who like to do pranks, who are practical jokers, please, please, please don't ever do this to me. I saw a video one time of a woman. You remember the Publishers Clearinghouse contest. They come to your door. They'd have balloons. There would be TV cameras. There'd be a van out there that said Publishers Clearinghouse, and they'd have this great big check that they would give to you. And I saw them show up at a woman's door. Some people show up at a woman's door. I had all of that, the balloons, the cameras, the people, the check, and said, "Congratulations, you just won $10 million. And the woman was so excited, so ecstatic, because she'd won $10 million. But then just a few minutes later, around the corner comes her sister, who says, "Surprise, it was all a joke. Gotcha." Well, I'll say this. I don't think it was a good prank. I don't think it was a good joke. And I say it because of this. You've heard me talk about the fact that, change your thinking, change your life, about circumstances, that you're not your circumstances and all of that. I'm going to tie all of that in together, but I don't think it was a good prank. And please don't ever do that to me. But here's the thing. It's not just our circumstances, but it's our thoughts about the circumstances that make the difference. Think about this for a moment. Think about if you were that person and somebody showed up at your door. They had all of the trappings of you being the winner of this contest, of this sweepstakes. And you're excited and you start to think about, yes, I've got this money. I got it made now. There's some things I'm going to pay off. There's some things I'm going to do. If you're working, you're going to say, "I'm going to go into work tomorrow and I'm going to let them know it's my last day." As a matter of fact, you might have a few things that you might say to a few people to let them know how you really feel. But you're caught up in all of this and you're excited and it means something to you. You're saying no more bills, and you're saying that there's some things that I want to do in life and now I can do them. I can pay things off. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to buy that. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get that. And then someone says, "Surprise, it was all a joke. It's not true." What will your thoughts be then? You probably want to wring their neck. You probably want to do something harmful to them. They probably are not safe walking through the alleys of your mind. You say, "Here I was thinking that I wouldn't have to work anymore, thinking that a lot of my problems and things are over." But if you think about it for a moment, the only thing that has changed in that situation are our thoughts about that check, thoughts about that prize. That's what's the only thing that's changed. Because you see, ultimately, the big check that you give you, whether it's real or not, it's just a piece of paper. But it's your thoughts about the paper. It's your thoughts about winning and it not being true, ultimately, that have changed. It's like the old Zen story about a man who decided that he wanted to relax. So he got into his boat. He made his way out into the middle of the lake, and he was just there, just relaxing. Things were calm. It was a nice sunny day, but it wasn't too hot. There was a slight breeze blowing, and he could feel the wind blowing on him. He could hear the birds. It was just really great. Now, all of a sudden, he sees another boat. But the other boat, not only is it out there in the water, but it's heading toward him. And he's thinking to himself, why is it that this person has decided that they are going to approach me, that they're going to come where I am and spoil my peace, spoil my tranquility, spoil my moment, if you will, of Zen. And so as the boat gets closer and closer, the person becomes more and more agitated. He becomes more and more agitated and even tries to wave the boat off, but it continues to come. But he takes another look and he realizes, he said, "Wait a minute, it looks like the boat is empty. There's really no one in the boat." So he calms down. But he takes another look. Wait a minute, again, it looks like, no, there's somebody in that boat. So he becomes upset again. He becomes angry. And on this goes on for several minutes until the boat finally gets there right up to him, and he realizes that there was no one in the boat. Now, if you think about it, what happens in this particular case, first of all, because he thought that there was someone in the boat, he assigned motives to them. He was thinking that there's a person that wants to encroach upon my privacy, my peace, someone who wants to, disturb me in this moment. He had assigned motives, but when he realized, or he thought, well, there's nobody in the boat, things changed. He settled down. He calmed down. But then when his eyes played trick on him again, and he went back into that mode again, becoming angry, becoming agitated, being caught up. But again, nothing had changed except for the fact of his thoughts, because it was still that empty boat that was moving toward him. But it was his thoughts about that boat, particularly about the fact that there was probably somebody in there that made the difference. He'd assigned things there. And it's important for us to understand again that it's not the circumstance, but our thoughts about the circumstance that make the difference. Because you are not your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. You are the thinker of your thoughts. You're the one who thinks those thoughts. I'm the thinker that thinks the thoughts that makes the things. And just as you saw in the examples that I used, the only thing that changed were the thoughts about the situation. Because circumstances can be those things that we can't change. I mean, there are things that are happening in the world right now. We'd all like to have world peace. We'd like to see more justice. We'd like to see more equality, more equity. I know there are many of us here in Memphis are looking at the University of Memphis and its decision to end all DEI, the things that have happened. I had conversations about that on yesterday with several people, and I know that within my department we've had our thoughts about this, but those are things that are happening. But we'd like to see something. We'd like to see some change in the current situation, in the present moment. We'd like to be able to change all of those things, and we can work toward those things, because I know that I'm going to be one that's going to be on the side of working for a change in those things to bring justice and equality and equity and all of that. But in the present moment, we can't. But what we can change is the fact that what we can change is recognizing that we have control over our thoughts. Because again, you are the watcher. You can observe yourself having whatever thoughts it is that you are having. And as you have those thoughts, you decide how it is that you're going to look at this. Because I can think about one time I saw a person in a similar situation where they thought they had come into a lot of money only for it to turn out to fall through, for it to be false. And that person just simply said, well, it'll be okay. I didn't have it in the first place. I still don't have it now, but that's all right, because it's how I think about this. And I choose to see things differently. I choose to not get upset. I choose to not allow myself to be taken down the rabbit hole of feeling like that I am a victim, of feeling like there's something truly, truly wrong has happened to me. That's not to negate anything else, but to understand this. Because you see, we have to be aware of the fact of this chain of events and things that happen. Our circumstances trigger our thoughts, which trigger our feelings, which trigger our actions, and then we experience the results. If I feel frightened, if I feel angry, if I feel happy or elated, whatever it is, it causes me to act a certain way. And as I begin thinking and acting in that certain way, things align, things line up with whatever it is I am thinking and feeling. They line up with that. Because you see, what happens is we can find ourselves in either a positive or a negative loop. And if we're in a negative loop, we're not feeling the way we would like to feel. We're caught up in circumstances and we're thinking a certain way. And what happens is that we get results. And then we use those results as evidence to fuel further thoughts. Not only is this bad thing happened to me, but look at all these other things that are going on, and further things are happening. and we pile up evidence to just prove to ourselves and to show to others that these things are happening. But remember, thoughts are at the bottom of these things. That it's our thoughts that are behind these things, and that when our thoughts are negative, when we get caught up in that negative loop, it just continues to happen and happen and happen. That's one of the reasons why when people come to me and say, I need you to pray for me, I need you to do spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer or whatever else, and as I ask them, what is it that you want? What is it that you would like to see happen in your life? And they'll say, well, let me tell you about my brother. And they start talking about, and I stop them. And I will go back and ask the question, what is it that you want? I really don't care about what your brother has done. I recognize and realize that it's important for people oftentimes to get things out. But what happens is we can get caught and stuck in the story. And when we get stuck in the story, we continue to add negative feedback loop. But focusing on and concentrating on what it is that we want, what it is that we would like to see happen makes the difference. You know, when I talk about that, because I'm working to help that person to shift, and I'm working to know the truth for that person until they can know it for themselves. Because when we get so caught up in our circumstances, we keep finding negative circumstances, we will keep finding more and more of that showing up because we gather negative evidence. Let's just say you had a confrontation with someone. You were in the store and you were waiting in line, and this person comes and they get in line in front of you, and you say something to them, and the person turns around, and all of a sudden you have a confrontation. You are into it. You're saying one thing and they're saying another thing, and things are going on, and that's over. But you just can't wait to tell somebody about what happened. You can't wait to tell them what you told that other person and how you handled the situation. So you get home and you call somebody, you tell them, or you get on social media and you post about it. And as you do, 72 likes and 32 comments and all of these things that are happening, and you continue to tell the story and relive the story and live it over and over and over again, caught up in that negative loop. And as you do so and gather evidence for the bad things and the bad feelings and the bad circumstance that you think that was, then you start feeling justified in your anger. You start feeling justified in your victimhood. And it just becomes, again, a negative loop, one that is not helpful. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying to let people walk over us, because we're not doormats. But there's a certain point where we have to let stuff go. Let it go, not for their sake, but for our own sake. When we understand this, that we are not doormats, but we have to let it go and let the past be the past, because what will happen is that incident, that person can mess up your day. And if we allow other people to mess up our day, pretty soon they will mess up our week, they will mess up our month, they will mess up our year, they will mess up our lives. And it's important that we take control of our lives. It's over, but we're still caught up because we have that negative pattern or negative loop. That's where the key is to become aware, because when we become aware, then we can see that we're continuing in that thinking this way about that circumstance, and then we can change. So what do? We have to begin searching for a better finding a better feeling thought, a better feeling, asking ourselves, what would be a better feeling thought for me so that I can get to where it is that I want to be, so I don't stay stuck in this mess. First, we realize that it's over. And then there is in Philippians chapter 4, verse 8, finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is pleasing, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, and if there is anything worthy about praise, think about these things. We have to begin looking for and finding those better feeling thoughts, those positive and affirming things. We put that negativity in the past and we move on. We move from that negative loop into a better feeling, more self-fulfilling, positive loop. We change our thoughts. And as we do, the feelings flow and our actions come into play. We've changed the loop. We can start seeing the results as if they've already happened. We at Open Heart have had a number of times our New Year's Eve party that we changed into an act as if party. And that is where we go around acting as if, as we're headed into the new year, that we are already in the place that we want to be, whatever occupation, career, accomplishment, achievement, or whatever else. And we even had name badges that reflected that. And I can remember when we first did it, there are some people that said, this is kind of weird. It kind of feels kind of weird to be talking and acting in this way. But as we continue to do so, and as we reinforce those things, I saw many people who were started to walk in that particular dream, to walk in that particular phase of life that they have been hoping for and have been talking about. Because of that, when we understand this, that we can positively and affirmatively act as if. And when we do, and when we stay with that, things do change because we start gathering more evidence that supports a positive way of being, a positive way of thinking. You've heard me talk about the reticular activation system, and that's something, reticular activating system, that's something that right now in our class we're talking about. So let's put it like this. Let's say you bought a car. It might be a new car. It might be new to you. It doesn't matter. But you bought a particular car, a particular model, and a particular color. And all of a sudden, as you're driving around, it seems like everywhere you look, you see a car that's like yours. Might be the same color. It might be the same model, but you see more and more cars like that. You pull in the parking lot. There's one sitting there. You pull up to a light. There's one over there. You go someplace else. There's one there. You turn on the television. You start to think about, man, did they have a sale on these things? What actually is going on? But it's actually your reticular activating system that has now heightened your awareness to that particular car, that particular color, make, and model. Because our reticular activating system is a filter, and it filters out things because we have all of these thoughts that are coming to us at the same time. But it filters out many of those things that our brain considers to be unimportant, and it heightens our awareness and it heightens our attention about certain other things. So the fact that when we get the new car, the excitement that is in us about that car and all of that, our reticular activating system, it responds and it brings to us more of that. We begin to see more of that. So when we begin to train our minds to see positive things, to make our default metaphysical, we have a metaphysical approach to things, then our consciousness shifts. Things happen. We are calling things to us. Here's the truth. These things have been here all the time. Remember, we talk often about how it's already done in the mind of God. These things are already here, but only now do we start to notice them. As we change our consciousness and our awareness, only then do we become aware of them. When we begin to change our thoughts, when we begin to change and break that negative loop, we choose to gather evidence for the positive things that we would like to see. So rather than focusing on stuff that's going to discourage me, take the opportunity and pay attention to those things that will encourage, those things that will help. And now, this is important. If we change our thinking, as we change to those things that are positive and we eliminate the things that are negative, we've got to go ahead and fill that void because as we understand, nature abhors a vacuum. So if we're going to take certain things out, we've got to replace it to fill it with something else, something positive, something beneficial, or soon more negative stuff will flood in. You see, for example, you get rid of thinking about your negative relatives, negative things about them, only to replace that with how despicable people are at work or find something else to complain about. But once we make that change, we have to shift our focus to that which is positive and life affirming. And I'm not just about changing our thinking, but I'm talking about changing our thinking and keeping it changed. Changing our thinking and keeping it changed. That's why this work never stops. But the more that we practice it, the easier it gets. So I don't want you to think that it happens overnight. But the more that we practice it, the more it becomes second nature. So let's say that right at this moment, you think about yourself, you look at yourself, and you think about the fact that I have some extra pounds on me that I really don't like. I've got these extra pounds and folds and everything else. Right in this very moment, you can't change that. But what can you change? You can change your thoughts about it. You can start making plans. Well, I'm not satisfied with how I look right now, but I'm going to love me right now. And then I'm going to take some steps to move myself to where things are. And then starting from there, some positive steps and some positive actions to do what I can about it. But first of all, I'm just going to love myself. I'm going to love myself the way I am. And then begin to think about that. Begin to affirm that. Use affirmations like I love myself. I respect myself. I will be kind to myself. I am beautiful inside and out. My body is perfect just the way it is. I accept my flaws and imperfections. I trust my decisions. I am strong and brave. I am kind and generous. I am smart and talented. I am good. I matter. I am enough. The shift, the change. You say, I'm not going to allow myself to be in situations and circumstances and with people that don't positively contribute to who I am. And you take action. You take action and you stay firm and resolved in the action that you take. Some people then will start to drift away from you. But others who are helpful and beneficial will start to come to you. They'll be drawn to you because the energy and the vibration that we put out matters. Once we take full responsibility for our experiences, things change. And I know I was sharing this with someone and they asked me, well, I like all that, but didn't you say you're a minister and a spiritual leader, director and all of that? Where's the spiritual in this? Where's God in this? And my answer to them was, we live in a universe that responds to our thoughts, that expresses in, through, and as us. We are that expression of God that gives life to all things, that animates all things, that responds, that is a loving presence, that is who we are. And that as we begin thinking loving thoughts, affirming thoughts, empowering thoughts, uplifting thoughts, as we see things and as we get our thought process straight, we get into the divine flow and we get into alignment, and then the creativity that we seek, the ideas that we seek, the resolution that we seek, the answers that we seek, the wisdom that we seek, all of those things that we seek, they begin to show up in our lives because the universe is orchestrating them and we become open and available to them and allow them to be. We make them welcome in our lives. And as we do so, that is the spiritual thing. And the things that we've been praying about and treating for and affirming for, and all of that begins to unfold and it begins to come into our lives as we open to it because we understand the circumstances don't have the final say. That as we take control of our thinking, as we take control of our consciousness and our awareness, as we flip the script that is already there for us. And when we see this and when we understand this and when we begin thinking in this way and behaving in this way and feeling in this way, all of these things here saying this is the circumstance, negative things are not me. Rather than being a victim, I choose to be victorious. Rather than letting things pull me down, I choose to uplift myself and to raise up, understanding that I do so empowered by spirit, understand that I do so encouraged and enabled by a loving universe, an enabling universe. As I do these things, I respond and I do this, I align myself, and the universe says, I got you. Let's go. And so it is.